on the highlights. At Mike Webb 58 said, despite being in France, I could hear the shouts of forward for Tommy's first try. I think the 10 that followed were okay though.
Yeah, it was forward, wasn't it? Let's not mix that one up.
I think Connor's pass was close to being forward for Walker's try as well. And I don't think it was the only forward pass in any of the. I don't think those two were the only forward passes I saw in the highlight. But I saw a lot more missed tackles than I did forward passes though.
Yes, absolutely. Always in our shadow. Puts 20 good and 60 bad. Never saw the ball apart from kicking off in 20 minutes either side of half time. No leadership, no control from senior players. Connor can only win his matches if given a platform.
B. Dawson 1902 said 286 points conceded in the last 7 games. That's an average of 40.5 points per match. That includes a game where we kept Toulouse to just 6 points. But at least we beat Rovers at Magic. Upside down smiley face.
Whatever makes you happy. Esther says, not good enough. I'm assuming he's competed for 20 minutes. Then just gave up. If only everyone tried as hard as Fash.
Esther always has a point in her reviews that's absolutely bang on and backed up by something that you've either read in a match review, seen on the highlights. The Brad Fash comment, I mean, we pulled that out, didn't we? 44 tackles, 12 marker tackles is a big effort in those conditions.
Yeah.
Especially when every other player was missing about 10 tackles.
Yeah. I don't know if he missed many or not, but...
No.
Yeah.
He deserves to miss a couple with those stats. Danny Houghton certainly will miss about 6 for his 44.
Yeah.
Frogmore said, I'd like to say Saints carved up the whole defence, but it didn't even look like there was any. From the highlights, it looked like a traffic cone would have done better lateral movement. Happy for Louis getting a brace. Looked like the man had a day out.
I'll just comment on that one, saying I've very much enjoyed LMS stepping. I think it was McIntosh turning around, having a look at him, and then putting the ball down. That did amuse me.
Didn't McIntosh then sort of pat him on the back as if to say, "Yep, you got me."
Nice one.
Yeah.
St. David says, as good as Saints were, and they were excellent, Hull were awful. No backbone. At least we had a semblance of a backline to lay off. I assume that was playoff. The back of a dominant pack. Parsi is a beast. If we can keep Hopewar fit, he could be the difference in the playoffs. Chance to win the League Leaders Shield at the Pie Dome. Bring it on.
Yeah, that is set up well now. We've already. My first note on this game was, is it just me or were there a lot of forward-looking passes? So we've already covered that. Did you have anything you wanted to do other than laugh?
I mean, how much of this podcast can I dedicate to laughing? No, just Hull looked absolutely dreadful, didn't he? He looked like Hurrell had a field day down that edge, feeding Tommy Makinson, and yeah, it's just really, really funny.
One thing that didn't seem to matter was who was defending at fullback, because you've mentioned McIntosh there. I think Walker, he picked up an injury, didn't he?
Yeah, he broke his foot, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like some sort of broken ankle, broken foot type situation. I haven't seen anything today, but that's what it sounds like, isn't it? Donnell McIntosh then went into fullback, it seems like, defensively at least, but not attackingly, because that's what Gunnar plays. He also got a knock to his ankle, so he's a bit crocked too. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any mitigation in there with them two having injuries during the game, but Connor then defended at fullback, and you say defended loosely.
Tried, yeah.
You say tried loosely.
Yes.
So it didn't matter who was there. It just seemed like really bad last line of defence for Hull. I'm not saying the fullbacks were the only one who struggled to defend though. Lots of missed tackles, loads of offloading by Saints. You
can do that against teams that are look a bit tired, and as I noticed, a lot of Hull players are like walking back to the line. That's when Saints are going straight through them, and
that was what I got from it, was that they must have been knackered, because Saints. I'm not saying they play ugly rugby all the time, because they've got some good players, but that Wellesby was rested for this game to recover from a few knocks and stuff, and probably have a sit down in a quiet room on a hot day because his kind of hot-headedness might have got him banned in those conditions. But no, in all seriousness, like, he's normally the guy who flashes massively for them. And it wasn't just structured plays and barnstorming forward runs, although there was that. There was a load of offloads, support runners, off script sort of stuff for Saints. And I think that comes off that they obviously dominated the ball for large periods of the game where Hull just couldn't do anything but get knackered out in that heat defending. And so it led to Saints having a much more fluid and offloady kind of game, quick hands all through the team, fluid looking attacking performance that I don't think we've seen from them certainly for a while, maybe for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it was almost un-Saints like, weren't they? They were always so organised and everything structured and just perfect, but this was a bit more free-flowing, go have fun with the ball.
Yeah, what did Paige say about this one after she got home?
She did mention that they only had 1 drinks break. I don't know what that means because both teams only had 1 drinks break, but
surely they had 12 drinks breaks.
Yeah, they had a lot, didn't they? Stood behind the sticks.
There was 11 tries for Saints and 1 for Hull FC. I imagine there was a lot of time taking kicks, so natural drinks breaks. But
he just said like the injuries to Walker and McIntosh, just they didn't recover from that and just went a bit unstructured. And that Connor win had a bit of a nightmare. I think he was defending Hurrell and just couldn't stand up to it at all. Yeah,
they did look like they had to sort of bodge around a bit in those positions, so you can sort of understand that becoming a challenge for players who maybe as well who prepared to play against a different player and then ended up facing up to someone else, and it might not have been easy, but
I think there's deeper issues at all. I don't know what they are, but it's not usual to get 60 points at home.
Well, Brandon covered it, like nearly 300 points in 7 games, and one of those games someone scored just 1 try. So
absolutely.
Take that out, and it's like 280 points in 6 games.
Yeah, they've got. I think I've written in my notes. They've got 2 wins in the last 10. One of them was against us, where the video ref gave it to them, and the other one was against Toulouse at the bottom.
Not that you're bitter.
No, not at all. I'm over it.
One was an entertaining, closely fought match that they just came out on the right side of, is how I describe it as a neutral.
Depends how you write it, doesn't it? You can fluff articles as much as you want. And the other win was against Toulouse, who are looking like they're getting relegated. So it's not a very good record at all.
No.
And they got decimated against you, they got decimated against Leeds and Saints. So
you think as well, don't you? Like, if they got to the playoffs, how would they manage to go against the same sides, especially away from home? I know that they beat us at their place mid-season. I think it was the week after a couple of weeks after we'd.
It was cup hangover, wasn't it?
It was in that period between the semi-final and the final, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Or was it a couple of weeks? I can't remember. I think it was in that period, if I remember rightly. Yeah. But that's no excuse from Wigan's point of view. What I'm saying is, at that point in time, they looked a competitive side, and then through a combination of injuries, suspensions, and really having a few individual positional problems defensively, that they've dropped off the face of the earth. And they've got a couple of bans out of this match as well. Kane Evans, he's no stranger to the disciplinary in his first season in Super League. He got a 1-match penalty notice for a Grade A dangerous contract. And Jake Connor got a Grade A other contrary behaviour charge, 1-match penalty notice. I imagine he said something out of line or something.
You'd imagine so. Well, he didn't tackle anyone, did he? So
Morgan Knowles got a Grade A shoulder charge, 1-match penalty notice for St Helens, so he's going to have a week off next week. Not quite excited about him being rested up to play Wigan the week after. And we mentioned the injuries that Hull picked up in the game. I haven't heard of any more injuries for St Helens, so if they've got Hopewati fit, bring Wellsby back into the halves, and all of a sudden they look a different outfit with the ball in hand, don't they?
Yes, I think most Saints players will probably be getting the week off next week anyway. Or I'm hoping. Or that will be a landslide.
They're certainly getting to the point where they can start to think about resting people, that's for sure.
Yes.
Who they play on the Bank Holiday Monday? That's the team who's going to really benefit.
I'm not sure.
That'll be a cast-like side.
They could. Well,
they still didn't play Sam Royal, did they?
No, I don't know what we could do with him as well. I know the loan thing's over, but
that's the shame of it, isn't it?
It is. If anything, though, it's a shame for Sam Royal more than anyone. Because he's just going to be playing maybe in the reserves if they've got a game, or if not, he's just sat watching, isn't he? When he could be starting at our team.
That's true, yeah. Last game of the weekend, reluctantly we've reached it. Wakefield 30, Wigan 12. It was 18-6 to Wakefield at half-time, so it was a consistently strong performance from second bottom Trinity. 3,933 was the crowd. Obviously, some restrictions with one of the stands being demolished there at Wakefield. Marcus Griffiths was the referee. Pleased to report, he gave signals for every penalty in this match.
He must have been listening.
That's what I said during the game. Wakefield won the key stat counts, 243 more metres, made it a slightly better average game with one more break, 2 fewer errors, and a marginally better team tackle success rate, although again both sides fell below 90% in the sunshine.
Yep, so for the winning Wakefield side, Matty Ashurst with 113 metres, Lewis Murphy with 1 try and 114 metres, Jacob Miller 1 try assist and 110 metres. And for the losing Wigan side, Jai Field with 1 try, 6 tackle busts and 128 metres, Bevan French with 1 try assist, an impressive 10 tackle busts, 121 metres and 2 clean breaks, and Liam Byrne with 101 metres.
Yeah, David Beeston said, Wakefield more up for it. Wigan lack resilience and a plan B when missing key players. We've got a lot of work to do to get close to grand final winning form.
Dr. Bob Phillips, the most joyful radio commentary I've heard in a long while, particularly the last 2 minutes where the final try was run amok and French held back again.
Frogmore said, it seems the grandstands weren't the only thing being demolished at Wakey. Lol. Very good.
And Wakey White said, a great performance by Wakey to keep Wigan scoreless, apart from 2 moments of Bevan and Field, and scored some nice tries on their own. Wakey's middle stood up well in the heat and outworked the Piemen for large periods and were deserved winners. Another big step towards safety and being able to recruit for our next year. Yeah,
look, Wakey needed it more. They wanted it more, and they showed it in the way they came into this game. That's the up and down of it, really. Wigan lost Morgan Smithies in the warm-up, calf strain for him. He was getting sort of tested out when we turned up. He was out very early getting tested out, and it seemed to be a worry. But he'd already been named in the side, so we lost an interchange. Not the sort of whether you want to be losing an interchange in for making that swap, but at the same time, that wasn't any reason that we lost the game, but it's just something, a bit of context for people who didn't see the game. One of the key things, especially in those sorts of conditions, even though there were a few breaks, was how much possession and field position Wakefield enjoyed early on, and crucially they turned that into scoreboard success. They were able to break Wigan down the middle of the field, which I haven't seen many teams do at all. There was also a little bit of Jake Bibby going run around in defence out wide. You know, it's shaky as we've seen it a few other times. Watch their first try. He goes chasing Corey Hall, totally ignoring the 2 other players and the ball. It's just nonsense. But I'm sure he'll get talked over in video review on that. But those breaks down the middle was unusual. James Batchelor was good. Jai Whitbread impressed me as well for for Wakefield. They were the architects of some of those things. Batchelor apparently left the game on crutches, so I don't know
Yeah,
the full
I've seen
details
it.
of that injury. Obviously, you'll have been paying attention in case it's going to affect you for next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has
There's
that
three
been
of
confirmed?
not officially, but more than